This is the first press release I think I've ever released that didn't have to do with the government giving small business contracts to Fortune 500 firms, but it crossed my mind. I think it's very important. I want to talk about it briefly. It's called Heart Disease, Cancer, or Terrorist Attacks: What's Killing More of Your Friends and Family? In the last few weeks, one of my best friends dropped dead of a heart attack. My accountant died of pancreatic cancer. My brother-in-law is dying of throat cancer. My girlfriend's father has lung cancer and prostate cancer. And another friend of mine is being diagnosed with thyroid cancer. And heck, 2 of my dogs have died from cancer. And I used to be a fundraiser for the American Heart Association back when I was younger. And back in those days, I was surprised to find out that half of all Americans die of heart disease. And I looked it up on the internet the other day on the website of the National Institute of Health, and about 20% of Americans will die of cancer. So here we are. If you're watching this program, you've got a 70% chance of dying of either cancer or heart disease. 70% chance. And yet when you look at how America spends our money, we spend over $1 trillion on defense. Your chance of being killed in a terrorist attack is, 1 in a million. And yet when you look at how we spend our money, the overwhelming, staggering majority of our tax dollars are being spent on defense, and a minuscule amount, I think it's about $10 billion, is being spent on research looking for cures for heart disease and cancer. Does that make sense to you? It doesn't make sense to me. So if we've got a 70% chance of dying of either heart disease or cancer, and an extremely, extremely slim chance of being killed, by the way, in either a terrorist attack or some other country attacking us, why are we spending so much money on defense? Here's what I think we ought to do. I think if we take the budget for the National Institute of Health and increase it by about 1,000%, and maybe cut defense spending a little bit. Does that make sense to you? I mean, what are you worried about? Let's see now. I've got to go have a colonoscopy to make sure I don't have colon cancer. I get checked for prostate cancer. I eat a high-fiber diet and drink Citracel so I won't get colon cancer. When I go to the dentist and have x-rays, they put a big lead vest on me with a big thyroid, what they call a thyroid collar, so I don't get thyroid cancer. I've had skin cancer. I had a big giant thing cut out of my nose here. And I wear sunblock whenever I go out and hats and sunglasses so I don't get skin cancer. But I don't really worry too much about being killed in a terrorist attack. In fact, it never crosses my mind. But every day of my life I think about, making sure that I'm taking care of myself so I don't die from some form of cancer. In fact, just a few hours ago I did 30 minutes on a elliptical trainer to get my heart rate up over 100 beats a minute for 20 minutes, to make my heart strong so I don't have a heart attack and die of heart disease or a stroke. So think about your life. Think about your friends' family. Anybody in your family die of heart disease? Cancer? Anybody you know? Yeah, a lot of people, huh? How many of your friends have died in terrorist attacks? Probably not too many. So think about if it makes sense to you. If we should be spending $1 trillion a year for defense and $10 billion trying to find cures for heart disease and cancer. I think it's insane. I think it's crazy. If I were running for president, I think what I would tell people is, if you'll elect me president, I'll spend more money trying to find a cure for cancer and heart disease than any president in history. In fact, I'm going to guess that the amount of money we've spent on the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, we could have cured cancer with that kind of money, quite frankly. We'd certainly be a lot further down the road for a cure than we are right now. So think about it. If you agree with me, call your congressman, call your senator, start thinking about it, and see if it makes sense to you to spend $1 trillion a year on defense and $10 billion trying to find a cure for the 2 diseases that are #1 killers on this planet, and that you have a 70% chance of dying from: heart disease and cancer. I think we need to spend some money trying to find a cure for those diseases. I'm Lloyd Chapman. Thank you.
That was good.